It's April, and you know what that means. Millions of Americans all over the country are celebrating the merciless slaughter of a Jewish man who was nailed to a piece of wood. Oh, and it's also Deer Month. So there's that too. Oh, Stephen King, you talented motherfucker. Let me preface this entire month by saying that I'm harder on writers that I like. So when I inevitably tear apart a book that most people adore, it will happen, trust me, let it be known that I do so out of respect. And because I'm an asshole. Anyway, let's get down to it. There was a point in time where Stephen King wondered if his success was due to luck or talent. I've always been more on the side of luck because, let's face it, a lot of shit has gotten famous. Twilight, 50 Shades of Grey, every Friedberg and Seltzer film. Though I feel like things that become popular that aren't built on the backbone of talent usually fade. Sure, there are plenty of talented writers who have the misfortune of being obscure until death, but let's compare Fanny Hill and Pride and Prejudice. Or Pride and Prejudice, pardon. Both are well known for their time, but how many of you watching know what Fanny Hill is? Basically, luck usually wins out, but a combination of luck and talent has more staying power. At least in my opinion. Regardless, King created a pseudonym with the intention of testing his theory, and lo and behold, we were blessed with Richard Bachman. King even went as far as to release the books under Bachman's name with very little marketing, and used the photo of his literary agent as the author picture. Thinner was the last book released under Bachman's name before King was revealed to be Bachman. First of all, this whole, pseudonym shtick happened long before I was born. But you ain't fooling me, King. You write in a specific way. I've read enough to know when I'm reading Stephen King. Secondly, if you look up the wiki page for this book, the background is rather comical. So basically, King was overweight, smoking. He was, as he put it, in heart attack territory. And as most are, he was bitter and pissed off that he had to lose weight, so all of that bitterness took the form of a 300-page novel. I mean, we've all been there. I was pissed that I had to do a writing assignment in grade school, so I penned a short story about a child who locked themselves in their room and starved to death. Why? Because 7-year-old me was just so sick of the world's shit. One of the interesting things about Thinner that plays rather well into King's fuck the world mentality behind this book is almost everyone is an asshole. Save for maybe Bill Halleck's daughter Linda, everyone in this novel is just a piece of crap. And that's fine with me. I should probably explain the plot of this thing before I go any further. Bill Halleck is a morbidly obese lawyer who never takes responsibility for his actions. It's always someone else's fault with him. One day, he's driving and his wife decides to give him a good old-fashioned hand job. He's distracted, obviously, and hits and kills a gypsy woman. Because he's in good with the judge and local sheriff, they pull strings and get him off scot-free. So the gypsy woman's elderly father curses Bill, the judge, and the sheriff, with the judge developing scales all over his body, the sheriff developing horrific facial acne, who eventually goes on to commit suicide. And Bill, as the title would lead you to believe, begins losing weight at a rapid rate. His family and doctor are worried, and eventually, Bill convinces Lemke, the old gypsy man who cursed him, to help get rid of the curse. He tells Bill that the only way to get rid of it is to pass it on, and makes a pie and drips Bill's blood into it, saying that the person that eats the pie will then take on the curse for themselves. He tries to convince Bill to nut up and eat it himself, maybe die with dignity, but Bill decides that his wife should be the one to get the curse because, of course, he blames her for everything that's happened. He's horrified to discover the next day that not only has his wife eaten a part of the pie, but she shared some of it with their daughter. So he decides fuck it and eats what's left so that he can join them in death. King is pretty good about creating characters you care about, but here it's just a matter of, good. They're dead. Halleck's wife was a whiny little bitch. Halleck himself was, as I said, an irresponsible asshole, and everyone around them seemed just as skeevy and underhanded. The only person I remotely sympathized with was the gypsy man whose daughter was killed, but even then, cursing a man to waste away without any consideration of what it might do to his family is a rather heartless thing to do. And keep in mind, Halleck has a daughter himself, but Lemke just didn't seem to care. Thinner was a fun read for me. I enjoyed being able to basically watch an entire person's world burn and not give a shit. It's a guilty pleasure. Not fantastic by any means, but still fun. I'm gonna give Thinner a B.